Hey guys, Raj Sanger of Cardiff Security. Welcome to another episode of Raj's Garage. Today's episode is a reveal video. New purchase, E36 M3 Coupe. No, not this car. Actually, why am I standing beside this car? Well, last week I put out a post on Instagram desperately looking for an E36 M3 Coupe, project car for Cardiff Security. And in the background was this. And everyone's asking, like, when did you buy that? Well, I forgot to do a reveal video on this, and I've already posted a couple of pictures with this car. So I thought, you know what? Before I do the reveal of the E36 M3, which is going to be in about 2 or 3 minutes, I'll walk around this car, tell you what this car's about and why I've got this car. So let's start with this. Okay, so this is an E30, 1991, I believe, 325i motorsport convertible, a manual, which is fairly rare, in Macau blue. My good friend Rocky Patel bought this car about 3 months ago, and it didn't have these wheels and it wasn't slammed on the floor. I had no intention of buying this car, and Rocky had no intention of selling this car. Rocky commissioned us to do the airlift suspension, so we put airlift 3/8 suspension on here, and then he had these amazing 17-inch BBS RSs stepped up made for him. I'm not sure of the specs, but I'll get the specs and we'll talk about that in a future video. So we did the car for Rocky, slammed it on the floor, put the wheels on, set it all up, and then Rocky's like, Raj, I think you need to buy this car off me. I'm like, no, I don't need another car. I don't need another E30. I've got 2 already. No, Raj, it's Macau blue. You've already got 2 Macau blue E30s. This will like complete your collection. So he's twisted my arm a little bit. I ended up buying the car. So it does sit well. I've got my E30 M3 convertible, which I bought earlier in the year, and my E30 M3 Coupe, which I've had for 7 or 8 years. So it does sit well in that collection, which I do get, and Rocky being the salesman he is, thanks Rocky. So what are my plans for this car? Well, it needs a little bit of TLC. The paintwork's in fantastic condition. I think it's been previously restored. The body kit's fantastic. Obviously it's on airlift 3H. I don't need to do that, it's already been done. The wheels are perfect, it sits just right. It needs a bit of TLC on the engine, fan belt and a service, a little bit of TLC on the interior, and a couple of things in the bodywork which need sorting out. But other than that, this car is ready to go. We will do an audio upgrade at some point, so we'll pull out the stereo, we'll change the speakers, and we'll document that, because a lot of guys out there, they've got E30 convertibles around the world, and we'll give you an idea of speaker sizes, speaker locations, and actually how easy and simple it is to upgrade the audio in these cars. So that's enough about this car. These two, we're doing a video on these very soon, so we'll talk about these another time. But now, let's go over to the new shop and I will reveal the E36 M3 Coupe. Let's go. Hey guys, my E36 M3 Coupe Evo in Cosmos Black with this fantastic saffron interior. So yeah, here's the car. I'll explain to you why I wanted the car and what the plans are with the car. But for a moment, let's take a look, eh? Well, back in the day, when I mean back in the day, 1996, I bought a brand new E36 318IS. I couldn't afford the M3, but I tried to make my 318IS look like an M3 and I failed miserably. So, you know, fast forward 20 odd years, 25 years, I've now got an E30 M3, I've got an E36 M3 CSL, missing the era in between. So I started looking for an E36 M3. Had to be an Evo, which is the sort of facelift later version. It's got the better S50 3.2 engine, clear indicators and different wheels, but I definitely wanted the Evo model and a coupe. Didn't want a convertible. Now, this car actually was for sale back in January. The guy who was selling the car approached me, said, look, I've got this for sale, blah, blah, blah. And then it went a bit cold. I think he had some personal issues and he decided not to sell the car. In between those 7 months, 6, 7 months, I saw maybe a dozen cars, 10, 12 cars. Couldn't agree on price on one or two. Some of the others were just ropey dogs. And then this chap reached out to me again. Said, look, it's up for sale. My recent post, in fact, it's up for sale. Let's do a deal. Well, went and had a look at the car, and I've got to say, bar a few external blemishes, which I'll go over, I think I got myself a really good E36 M3 Evo. So let's have a look at the car and let's go through what I need to do to the car. Let's have a look at the engine, shall we? So that's pretty clean for a car that's best part of 25 years old, 74,000 miles. Obviously it's been detailed and well looked after and cared for by the previous and probably the previous owners as well prior to him. Engine wise, I don't really need to do anything. It's got a noisy fan belt. I'll get that addressed and it needs a service. It is an individual, so it's a Cosmos Black, as it says there, and it's an individual, which means what? Well, individual because of the interior spec. These lovely Vader seats in saffron, and I think that's what makes this car really, just that contrasting interior color. Okay, externally, 17-inch sunflowers. I think they were standard on all the Evo coupes. Michelin Pilot Sport tires, virtually new as well. Previous owner has replaced all the plastics, so the door handles, all these trims here. I think some of the trims around the windows, which is fantastic, saved me a lot of money as well. Around the back, now the exhaust has been changed. I have got the stock exhaust as well. Previous owner has put on this AC Schnitzer DTM style exhaust. Period correct, because I think in the 90s a lot of guys did that. Is it correct now? I don't know, I'm thinking of changing it. Let me know what you think, just throw a comment below. Should I change it or should I leave it? It's also sitting slightly low, as you can see. I've not touched this, you know, that's normally the first thing we do is slam a car. It's actually got IBAC Pro springs. I've got the originals as well. It looks very nice, good condition. There are some blemishes in the paintwork. There's a few dings here and in the wing itself. And on the front bumper, I think the previous owner got carried away with a jet wash and has peeled the paint away on the bumper. So obviously that's gonna have to get rectified, and I've already spoken to our local painter, Dips at Custom Cars, and he'll sort that bumper out and all the little blemishes on the paintwork. Okay, one other thing. Now, I didn't know this was a thing, but apparently this has aluminium doors, lighter doors. Only some of the early Evos had them. I don't know if it's a thing. Let me know, guys. Never heard of that before, but apparently it's got aluminium doors. Now, what are my plans with the car? Well, sort the paintwork out first and foremost. I think that needs to be done, get it to a standard that I'm happy with. Suspension. IBAC springs are pretty good. I drove this car back from Leicester. Beautiful. In fact, we're gonna go for a drive shortly. But obviously, we are about airlift. Now, do I go airlift 3H or do I change the suspension and put on a better set of coilovers compared to the IBAC springs that are on there? Do I do KW? Do I go Bilstein? Let me know what you guys think. Wheels, I need to change the wheels. Obviously, if I'm going airlift, I'm gonna need some deeper dish wheels. Maybe something period correct. Maybe a set of AC Schnitzers, maybe a set of Hartigers. I don't know. If you know of any wheels for sale that would suit this car, DM me, drop a link below. Or let me know what I should do. Now, obviously audio. That is what we are about. We will do a separate episode covering an audio upgrade. It's a standard BMW stock stereo. I think the speakers are all stock as well. So we'll rip all of that out, upgrade the front speakers, the rear speakers, change the stereo, and probably add a small passive subwoofer in the back. So we'll do a separate episode on that. Okay, I think it's time we went for a drive. Let's go. I've got to say, I'm pretty impressed with this car. 76,000 miles, not 74, as I said earlier in the video, but I don't think that makes much difference. For a car that's 25 years old, it's got that BMW build quality and engineering. It's still solid inside, it's not creaking about, it's not crashing about anywhere. The dash, all in one piece, there's no cracks, the interior. I am very, very impressed. I think I'm lucky in the sense that I found a good one. I saw some bad ones, and believe you and me, they were proper ropey M3s. But this particular one, fantastic. Suspension, very forgiving. It's on I-back springs. So, you know, yes, it is lowered, but it's not crashing about. The turning is nice. The feedback from the steering wheel is very positive. You turn, it goes. You put your foot down, it goes. So it's got some kick to it. That exhaust obviously has made a difference to the sound. Sounds a little bit more throaty, so that's really helped, and it goes. It's a lot quicker than the E30 M3, not as quick as the E36 M3 CSL. Obviously sits in between. I'm impressed. So firstly, I've got to thank the previous owner, Ed. I haven't mentioned his name yet. Ed, mate, thanks for selling me this car, and thanks for looking after it. You did a great job, and obviously with my subtle touches and individuality that I'm going to add to this particular vehicle, I'm only going to improve it. I want to get to sort of like an OEM plus, so better than factory, which I think I will do. It's not far from better than factory, but I think with the subtle changes that I'm going to do, it's going to be one hell of a car. Probably want a little bit more performance out of it, so I think we'll have to look at potentially an air intake, maybe an E-Venturi, if we can source an E-Venturi air intake. I don't think there's much else to do. I'm not going to put a cage or anything like that in it. It's not going to be used for track. It's going to be a fast road car, so suspension, potentially the exhaust, interior mods, air intake, steering wheel. I'm not a fan of this ginormous OEM BMW steering wheel, so I think I'll have to give my friends at Mama a shout and get a nice steering wheel off those guys. But other than that, 25-year-old car, again, German build quality, business CD, that works, the radio actually works. All the AC controls, climate control buttons work, although I think the AC needs regassing. And even here, the computer, it's actually working. That's the correct time. The date is correct. So again, I think I was lucky. I found a very, very good example of an E36 M3. Okay guys, thanks for watching the reveal video of the E36 M3 Evo. Now, there's going to be probably 3 or 4 more episodes showing what we're doing to this car. Obviously the audio, the security, suspension, I'll be going air, and the wheels. So keep an eye out on the socials. Now, as ever, any questions you have, any comments you have, drop them down below and we will answer them. Like, that's very important. Subscribe, that's even more important. Guys, appreciate your time. See you soon.